Lowe's has you covered for all those projects on your summer to-do list and will even help you save. Update your old flooring with stylish new ceramic tile starting at just 49 cents. And give your home a whole new look inside and out with $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid 6/21 through 6/28. Exclusions apply. Tile offer valid 6/21 through 7/5. Price based per square foot or per piece based on market. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Archangels, ghosts, and Bigfoot. Oh my. It's just another night for Supernatural Girlz. Real stories, real answers to life's biggest supernatural mysteries. And now for another exciting interview with paranormal experts from this world and others. Here's your host, paranormal researcher Patricia Baker, on the one, the only Supernatural Girlz.
Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Supernatural Girlz Radio. I am your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my co-host, all the way from sunny Tucson, lucky lady, PK, Patricia Kirkman. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's warming up outside. I just love it. Absolutely love it. I won't complain tonight about the weather.
All right. Well, I'm not going to complain about that, but...
Yes?
I'm getting over a cold. Can you imagine?
I can't imagine you being ill.
I know it. It was the first time in 8 years that I got a cold. So, I was so cranky, but now I'm not cranky. I'm happy because I love the show. And we've got a great guest.
Don't we, though?
Oh, we love this man. We do. His name is Oscar Miro-Quesada, and we're so grateful to have him with us. We're going to introduce him in just a couple of minutes, but I also want to give a shout out to his wife, Cindy, because without Cindy, we wouldn't have Don Oscar here with us tonight. So, Cindy, thank you so much for all your help in setting up the show with your lovely husband tonight. So, we're very grateful for all the work you did. And... wow, everybody, you're going to have so much fun tonight, and you're going to learn so much, and you're going to be transformed, because listening to Don Oscar in and of itself is a healing transformation. So you're in for a big treat, and PK, let's start with the numbers. What's going on in the world today? Very interesting things. I got to tell you, before you just share this one thing about the numbers, I got to share one thing I just saw on the news. Blew my mind. The gangs in Chicago, get a load of this. They want help from President Trump. They said it's such a mess over there that they need help from President Trump. I almost fell off my chair when I was watching this. Is that too funny?
Well, let's put it this way. It's a strange situation because February is a brand new month in this year, and it is a 3 universal month. So it's all about communications of all forms, scattered energies, people feeling uptight, but also some feeling optimistic, and they've got some great ideas, but I guess going to Trump is probably one of the best ones they've come up with for a while.
I think it's great. I just love it. I mean, it shows a tremendous amount of trust in his ability to lead the country and also bring us in the right direction. But I just thought it was too ironic.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of changes. We're going to see change where he's concerned this month because he is now in a one personal month. So he's going to be able to take charge better than he has before. He's been in throughout January. He was in a 9 months, so it was ending a lot of things, and nothing seemed to possibly go well, although they were in better ways than he thought at the time. But there's going to be a lot of changes taking place. This month, his one and the creativity and the universe in itself, it's going to give him more ideas of things to do. But I think he's going to kind of anchor himself a little bit more and not be such a, shall we say, he needs to not shoot himself in the foot this time.
Yes. Well, that'll be good. More presidential,
definitely.
more strength. but getting a lot done, which is good.
For
A
sure.
lot. Yes.
But,
So-
if we take a look at this month, there's going to be so many creative juices running for everybody. And there's a luck factor that goes with this month. So that's a plus.
Oh, I love
And
that.
so everybody being optimistic is much better than allow yourself to be pessimistic. So that's why I say looking forward to the good things that could take place. And I think people are going to find that the social side is reaching upward. And it's going to really allow for some new friendships to take place, which is going to make everybody feel better. Positive ideas to share, care about, and things are just going to kind of seem to pop and make you feel better. Like today gave us a chance to take a look at the feeling of the energy surging. And it's one step, and it's at a time when we need to take that one step. Take a break and not, even though you're not ready for it yet, look into what's going on and then take it from there. Because tomorrow is going to be a 5-day, and it's going to be about some major changes, and it will deal with the creative side, but it's also going to be a great combination. The mind soars, ideas are going to be great, but the month and the day are going to give some very positive factors. So, hey, hang on. It's kind of like going for the gold ring on the merry-go-round.
Oh, I like that. That sounds so wonderful.
We need
Yay.
it. Definitely need it. We've had too much of the negative taking place.
I know it. I know it. Well, good. It's time for a sunny day, and we are ready.
I think we deserve it.
We do. We always deserve the best. And here we have the best of paranormal news tonight.
Yes.
Queen Elizabeth I showed up on camera. How about it? And this was at Strelly Hall, which is a stately home near Nottingham in the UK. And they were going through some footage of, cameras that had been set up. And here she came, right? There she was. That was very easy to see. And if you want to see it, go to our Facebook page and take a look, because I posted it there. Make sure you give us a like, follow us, so that you can keep looking at all the great stuff we have there. But what you were doing, PK, was taking a look at the numbers, because we've got Queen Elizabeth I and we've got Queen Elizabeth here with us, who just had a big health issue. And my question was, does she have one foot out the door? Is this where the original Queen Elizabeth is showing up?
That's a good possibility. And I'll tell you, the fact that the first one was in power for 63 years. And this lovely queen is going to have her 63rd year in power on the 6th of February.
Very interesting. Yeah.
They're mirroring one another here. And I'll tell you what, she's one sharp cookie, because I took a look at her numbers, and boy, talk about headstrong. Nobody's telling her what to do ever. Ever. She's very determined, but she's very creative about how she handles things. And she loves change, even though people aren't aware of it. She's more into things than anyone really has paid attention to.
Wow.
She's got a good head on her shoulders. Not a great one, but a good head, But she's very concerned about how things are constructed, how they work, how the monarchy, the financial aspect of things. She's got her finger in just about everything, believe it or not. She just doesn't let it up to everybody else to deal with.
I believe that. Yeah.
Well, that's why she doesn't want to let go. Who's she going to turn her everything over to? Charles?
I don't think she wants to turn it over to Charles.
I don't think she does either.
Yeah. So what's she going to do? But she's coming up on the 63rd year, which I find very synchronous. So we're going to watch this and see what happens. I think it's very interesting that the ghost of Queen Elizabeth just showed up. Can't be for no reason. We're going to keep an eye on this, everybody.
Take a look. Something between now and August. Could be sooner than that. Because 7 weeks prior to our birthday, we have some issues that many times go on. And her birthday is coming up in April, so April 21st. So there's something more taking place here. She isn't letting go. She won't leave quietly. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to watch this as things progress. We'll bring this back to the show and let you know anything else that we found. And also on our Facebook page, I posted a story from the CIA about UFOs over Germany in 1952. And PK, as you and I were discussing, isn't it interesting they're releasing all these old UFO files? Now, of course, we'd like to see something more recent, but as you and I discussed, they're probably just getting everybody comfortable with the idea until they're good and ready to control things in their own way with UFOs. But you know what? That's okay, because we know they're real. We don't need any kind of a disclosure from them. We don't need that because we know what we're talking about, right?
Well, the funny part is, like I said, this month is all about communication coming of all forms and all sources. Gee, look what we've got, the first thing. Well, we've had some little visitors around us, and now they're letting us know that we're not crazy. They really are there.
Yep, they really are. And you know what? Our guest has had an incredible UFO experience. I'm going to ask him to talk about it if he would be so kind.
That would be wonderful.
Oh, yes, indeedy. So, okay, so everybody, we have Don Oscar Miro-Quesada with us tonight. He is a shaman and the visionary founder of the Heart of the Healer THOTH Foundation. And he's also the author of a wonderful book called Lessons in Courage, Peruvian Shamanic Wisdom for Everyday Life. And let me tell you something, there's a lot of wisdom in this book. If you want to learn something in a wonderful way, get this book, Lessons in Courage. And you can also go to Don Oscar's website, which is theheartofahealer.org. And he has all kinds of things he offers to people, shamanic journeys and apprenticeships. And he's the best of the best, and we have him here tonight with us. So let's get him on the show. Don Oscar, welcome to the show.
Hayiyanchu, Warmichas, Patricia, y Piqué. Thank you for having me on again. This is a wonderful and fascinating opportunity to explore the heretofore uncharted realms of our human capacity to dream a new reality into the flesh. So thank you for opening up the space for this to be, again, possible between the three of us and all of your listening audience, of course.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. We absolutely love having you here. And you've had such an interesting life thus far, and I know the rest will even be more interesting, but you have been through a lot. And I know people may have heard you before, but just to bring people up to date on some of the things you've experienced, because as you know, a lot of people are going through tough times right now with chronic illness or cancer or something. And you talk a lot about that in Lessons in Courage. And you yourself, as a very young child, you did die from asthma, right?
Correct. That was the second near-death experience that I had. The first one occurred through electrocution when I was 1.5 years, and then through hypoxia or asphyxiation due to severe asthma at age 10 that you refer to. And then I had a third encounter with the other side at age 33 through a car accident that was made possible through my own despair and volition to not be alive anymore. So not only was illness part of this getting close to the other side, yet also the despair and necessity to let go of what I thought was a life ill spent, a life without purpose. Little did I know that this self-judgment was, at the end of things, a saving grace in my life. It seems to be that pain is a very necessary motivator for the soul to evolve and progress. And these opportunities, although riddled with pain and suffering, were rites of passage, were initiations into a much more fuller appreciation of the gift that is the sanctity of life.
And they weren't going to let you, well, I think at the last time that you took yourself in the car at a high speed and crashed it, you had a choice at that point, right? You said you met a guy in a leather jacket, looked like that was really funny, like a race car jacket with a little patch on it.
Well, yes, we have spoken about these incidents before on the first time that you had me on as a guest. And as you mentioned, this people interested in more details can read about it in Lessons Encouraged. Yet there's a common element, Patricia, in all three of my near-death experiences, and that is the presence of a entity, a being that took on a different form according to the needs that I had at that current phase in my life. And the person that you're referring to associated with the car crash was like a black slicked-haired back James Dean type with a black jacket and black threads and shades and an STP racing car oil emblem on his jacket.
Love it.
That came trucking toward me and telepathically began transmitting experiences and questions to me. And this may sound incredulous to the listening audience, yet this is my truth, and that's why I speak it so.
So important for us to hear this, because others don't realize we do make choices.
We do. Did we lose Don Oscar, Joe?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay. I thought you dropped out for. Thank God we didn't lose you.
No, don't go away.
Yeah.
Well, I am between worlds often, so.
Okay, so that's what happened. All right, but it's just your stories in Lessons of Courage are wonderful. They come right from your heart, and I want to encourage everybody to get your book and read it, because I was changed by reading it. It's a wonderful book, and so anyways, anybody can get it on Amazon.com. It's terrific. So people that are going through these types of dark nights of the soul, how do you help them? Do you help them with your work?
Well, certainly, in this phase that we understand as the Kali Yuga, or the end times of the Iron Age, where chaos and division and insanity really is characteristic of the times, it is not surprising that many people have lost their way and are very confused and frightened concerning the prospects, not only of the changes that are in our face on a personal level, but also on a planetary level. Both the social unrest that is ubiquitous throughout the world and the environmental degradation that we're facing is reason enough to lose hope and feel concerned about our survival. Yet at the same time, these types of cataclysmic and epic threats are not new. They have been written about in all of the great spiritual texts throughout the world, and are in the stories of origins and myths of creation of all of our original shamanic cultures. There's always been this battle between forces of the light and forces of the dark, of good and evil, and they have served to situate our human struggle as a choice, like you well say. And choice is all about awareness. Choice is awareness. So when we are confronted with making personal choices that involve changing ourselves in order to survive the unbridled transformations that are coming our way, the simpler the changes in us, the better. We don't have to go out and start saving the world. The most important thing is that we cultivate a loving disposition toward the world. And in that sense, the work that I do as a shamanic practitioner is founded upon being an embodiment of Munai, of unlimited love, and allowing that field of compassive presence to do the healing without me getting in the way.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's really beautiful. So when people come to you and they have a terrible illness like cancer. How do you walk them through this? Do you provide them with your shamanic ceremonial experience? How do you do this?
Certainly. There are various approaches depending on each individual that comes for assistance. Now, in the traditions that I've been apprenticed in and sanctioned in, the kamasqa curandero tradition of the northern coastal region of Peru, we understand all systemic disorders that are debilitating of the person, such as cancer, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, immune deficiency disorders, all of those as illnesses of God, enfermedades de Dios. They have been brought into the life of the sufferer as a tutelary, as a teacher. And so the first thing that we do, aside from using the various herbs and other natural medicines that are time proven to attenuate and reduce the symptomatology associated with these horrendous diseases, at a psycho-spiritual and shamanic level, we help the person engage in a dialectic, in a dialogue, in a conversation with the disease, to give it a name, to give it a form, and to enter into a relationship with it that eventually reveals the true purpose of this illness within their body. Whether the illness ends up being the doorway toward their transition from this physical plane or not is not the issue. The issue is that whether they live or they die, that they learn to make this an opportunity for growing soul, for a more soul-infused experience of their immortality. And that way, in their next bardo, their next level of consciousness as a soul that is freed from the temporal constraints of physicality, they are able to choose their next incarnation free of that disorder. And as a matter of fact, called to serve others that have the disorder through their own lived experience and willingness to be a bodhisattva-like presence on planet.
That's fascinating. Well, everything is about communication, especially in shamanic practice, right?
Well, yes, we understand that we are part of an interdependent web of relationships, that it is our duty to honor by feeding them, by offering them libations, by doing propitiatory rituals, by demonstrating obeisance and an obligation to maintaining the balance within this web of life. And that is why there are so many earth-honoring rituals that accompany all shamanic work. Every individual healing service you do for somebody must be accompanied by an offering to the Earth Mother, by an offering to the sacred mountains, to the rivers, to the oceans, and to all of our relations, mineral, plant, animal, and human, living or dead. And depending on the need of the individual that you are serving, there are specific despachos, which are ceremonial offerings that include all sorts of ingredients, and they're much like Tibetan sand paintings or Navajo sand paintings that you're familiar with,
right,
that are created with specific prayers to invoke the spiritual assistance from the ancestors in the life of this person. And this person creates it themselves and then either offers it to a sacred fire or releases it into a body of moving water. So the person, the healee, becomes a participant in engaging these unseen, invisible forces to help them move through their illness. So that is a very empowering experience rather than just relegating them to an IV stuck in a hospital.
Right.
You take them out into nature and you teach them how to do offerings to the mother and to all of her relatives. And
that's
makes beautiful
sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I know when we had Garth Nicholson, who's a microbiologist, on the show, and I was saying to him, Garth, you're going to think I'm crazy. I mean, Garth is a scientist, but I said, I think these microbes and these viruses and things that you're studying, they have consciousness because they adapt inside people's bodies. And he was like, something, I agree, you're right. And I was just floored that he understood that as a scientist. But he said, you're right. So that falls right under the heading of what you're doing with people and bringing them to a point of being able to communicate with their own disease, because it has consciousness. It has awareness.
It's the same principle. It's all about sentience. In the shamanic tradition, we understand that this is a living, sentient universe, and every part of creation has a consciousness, a form of awareness, sometimes not always self-awareness, but awareness of its place within the great web of life that is in delicate balance. And any scientist who are really worth their salt will come to the realization that the human biome, the bacteria and the microbial habitat that we have within our body is a very wise entity. It's not just the individual microbes that are disease promoting, but there's a plethora of biotic helpers, of allies, of shamanic spirit helpers in the form of these little microbial beings that are flowing through our body and maintaining homeostasis, maintaining equilibrium, and maintaining a good environment for us to flourish and be healthy. And we must offer obeisance to them. And that is by taking care of ourselves, by eating right, and by performing the proper prostrations if you are a practitioner of yoga, and most importantly, by feeding the soul inspirational visions of what it's possible to be as a human being beyond our body, as shining ones. As light, capital L.
Gosh. Well, this is, again, a great conversation that we're having with you, and we have questions coming up in the chat room. So in a couple of minutes, we have to go to break, but I'm going to ask you this question from Raquel, who says, hi, Oscar. Has anyone made an attempt to have a country recognize shamanism as an organized religion?
Excellent question, and I would say that in the past, most of the original peoples of this planet that could be considered tribal nations understood that the shaman or shamaness was a mediator between the spirit world and the human community, and they held them in the highest esteem, and many of those leading shamanic figures became national heroes or culture heroes and established the moral principles and ethical standards for the people. And hence, the entire nation, the entire tribal nation, had a deep spiritual foundation as a shamanic people. There's evidence of this throughout the world. Now, in the modern world, though, there is a dearth of this, except maybe in Bhutan. I would say Bhutan may be one of the few nations that on a national level has a Buddhist-based shamanic understanding that permeates all of their social structures and also their political policy. And that's something that the person asking the question may be interested in looking into. And even in my own country of Peru and in Ecuador and in Brazil and in Bolivia, the shamanic traditions are integrated within the national public health systems. So they have a very prominent role as a go-to opportunity for the people of each of these nations to receive their health needs met, as well as spiritual comfort, much like
how nice
the Catholic Church would offer. And
wow.
It's growing.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to take a very short commercial break. So in the meantime, you guys can visit the Facebook page, take a look at our articles, give us a like, follow us on Twitter, sign up for the Fringe Files, which is our newsletter, and visit our advertisers. You've got some great advertisers there on the homepage, thehighend.org and Sean Bartok's new book about his alien abduction. And also creativestrength.us, offering free scalar treatments. Just go there, click on the link. It's all free. So, gosh, you're listening to Supernatural Girlz Radio, everybody. We'll be right back.
You're listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network. Chicago, Illinois.
You didn't forget what's coming up tonight, did you? Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Never miss that interview you were looking forward to or the show on your favorite topic. Follow IRN on Twitter, I_R_N, and get reminders about the evening's live shows as well as fun and important updates throughout the week. That's I_R_N, and never miss a great show again.
My name is Ezra, and I'm from thehighend.org. You've heard of medical marijuana, but who can you trust for proper guidance? Here at thehighend.org, we have all the information you need. Did you know that scientists have discovered cannabis can reduce inflammation, pain, and spasms? It's helped my patients reduce the symptoms of autoimmune diseases, PTSD, autism, and insomnia. A compound from hemp called CBD is doing wonders for intestinal issues, anxiety, and the nervous system. I sell this compound at thehighend.org. I've worked as a medical marijuana consultant and educator for the past 6 years, and here at thehighend.org, I can help.
This week at Lowe's, you'll get great savings during our outdoor entertaining event. Get a smoking hot deal on a Char Griller Super Pro Charcoal Grill, now for just $99. That's a $30 savings. And if you're inviting people over for that backyard barbecue, make sure your landscape looks in tip-top shape with premium mulch. Now 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 6/21 through 6/28. While supplies last. U.S. only. Mulch color and selection vary by location. Offer not valid in Alaska or Hawaii.
Help you choose from the hundreds of cannabis strains and products and find the ones that are best for your needs. To learn more about cannabis, schedule a Skype or phone consultation, or to have a CBD product shipped right to your door, visit thehighend.org. That's thehighend, all one word, .org. I'll help make your health high-end.
Hi, can you hear my voice? Imagine how many other people can hear it too. If you have advertising needs, then look no further. The Inception Radio Network currently has openings for on-air advertisements and radio show sponsorships. Given any thought to your target demographic? Inception has you covered there too. Advertising on a network gives you multiple opportunities to advertise on a wide variety of radio show broadcasts, and we have one to fit every advertising need. You know, in recent years, internet radio has exhibited a phenomenal listener growth. An Arbitron Edison survey shows that online radio boosts at least 33 million unique visitors each week and 54 million each month. And that number amazingly continues to grow. And these listeners are a part of many businesses' core demographics. And surveys have shown that internet radio listeners are far more likely than regular radio listeners to spend money on a whole range of activities. You know, internet listeners vote, they dine out and eat fast food, and they grab a cup of coffee. And here's the interesting one. They buy items online at a much higher rate than all other market segments combined. Internet radio also enables businesses to connect with consumers during work hours, where increasingly more lifestyle decisions are being made. Advertise with the best. The Inception Radio Network offers competitive advertising rates to fit just about anyone's advertising budget. Stop by today at www.inceptionradionetwork.com or call us toll-free at 1-888-919-2355. Get the word out. Get results with the Inception Radio Network.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Hello, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Remember, you can take your Inception radio shows on the go. Just download the Inception Radio Network app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphones and access live shows, past shows, guest lineups, and much more. Just visit the iTunes Store or the Google Play Marketplace and download it today for free.
Your property tax bill. Have you seen it lately? It's frightening. Your property taxes are going up while your home value is going down. It's time to fight back and win. For the real truth about the property tax system, get attorney Pat Quintilian's book, Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Attorney Quintilian answers all your questions and gives you the facts you need to fight a property tax bill that is spiraling out of control. You'll also read about what happens to property owners who don't check their property records, only to find out too late they're taxed on square footage, fixtures, and even buildings that they don't own. Is this happening to you? Learn your rights. Buy attorney Pat Quintilian's book today. Are You Getting Screwed on Your Property Taxes? How to Find Out and How to Fix It. Available on Amazon.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girlz Radio. I'm your host, Patricia Baker, and I'm here with my co-host, Patricia Kirkman, PK, and our very excellent, very favorite guest. And he is the author of a book, Lessons in Courage, Peruvian Shamanic Wisdom for Everyday Life, and his name is Don Oscar Miro-Quesada. So, Don Oscar, we have another question. Let's see, where did it go? I had another question for you real quick. Somebody wanted to know if you have blessed prayer beads available.
Ooh, good idea.
Blessed prayer beads available. I regret to say that I've never thought of making a business of blessed prayer beads. Yet I do offer prayerful blessings out into the world on a consistent basis, yet for no fee attached, because in our tradition we understand that to be a hollow bone, to allow the wisdom of creation to be the source of one's healing capacity, one has to step out of the way. As a matter of fact, one's efficacy as a shamanic healer is proportional to one's ability to be free of oneself, to not take oneself as the primary agent of the healing capacity. So rarely we're very open to receiving what's called aini, some sort of reciprocity, some sort of offering, a generous offering according to the possibility of the individual, yet we never set a price for our services. As a teacher, I do charge for my seminars and workshops, but in my healing capacity, it goes against the principles of the work, of the great work, to set a price on it.
Okay, there's the answer. That was a question from Starlight. So, Starlight, there you go. So, we were talking off the air, as we often do, and we were talking about your amazing UFO experiences. So, would you be so kind as to share that with our audience and us tonight? Because I know you've had some amazing things go on.
Gladly. And I know, Patricia, that you are referring to one particular event that occurred when I was intimately involved with the Rama mission, R-A-M-A. It's a UFO contactee group that began in Peru in 1974 and was initiated by a gentleman by the name of Sixto Paz Wells. As a matter of fact, his book, translated in English, is called The Invitation, and it is magnificent. I highly recommend it to any heartfelt, authentic seeker of clarity regarding the UFO visitation upon Earth. Anyway, the Rama mission, Ra, Sun, Ma, Earth, Sun on Earth, or light on the third dimension, is a assistance mission, an assistance confederation, mostly comprised by beings from Orion that have made a satellite colony on Jupiter's largest moon, on Ganymede, and from there have been overlooking many of the evolutionary opportunities for humankind on Earth. As a result of this, they chose to make contact with a handful of individuals around the planet, Sixto being one of them, and through contact with Sixto, galvanized a movement that was based on contact practices, of which I participated for many years. As a matter of fact, I was the southeastern region representative for the Rama mission in the United States when I was living in Georgia, until the time came when I was visited by those shiny, black-booted, black-outfitted peoples of our U.S. government that tried to infiltrate our study groups. And that's a whole other story that I may go into if I have time.
Yeah, we want to hear that too, because that's a big part and a big problem with this whole thing.
Yeah, well, you know, they have to be here. They're part of the game.
Are they part of the game?
You know, oh, Lord. It's like roulette.
Stun.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, the government of Peru really supports UFO contact experiences, as well as they have the International Institute of Interplanetary Relations that was founded by Sixto's father, Carlos Paz Wells, that is an official organization within the Ministry of Education of Peru.
No kidding.
And Sixto has been invited to the Peruvian Congress on many occasions to talk about his UFO experiences and some of the messages that the elder brothers, that we call them, have been transmitting to him through psychographic communication or automatic writing. And he's been, very warmly welcomed within the political establishment of Peru. So there's a very different mindset in these countries than there is in the United States. They're not threatened by it,
Yeah.
So, yes. So back to this experience. Now, in the early 80s, it was really 1980. I was back in Peru and working there for the Organization of American States, and I became very involved with the Rama mission. And at that time, a journalist from Spain, JJ Benitez was his name, contacted Sixto because he had read his book and was fascinated by what was going on down there. That we are the only UFO contactee organization that has scheduled contacts. We are given through psychographic writing, through our what we call our antennas, which are receivers, the exact date, the time, the place, the people that should be there, and lo and behold, you go out into the desert of Chilca, which is 66 kilometers south of Lima, which is the favored UFO sighting area for these events. And boom, there they are. Not only scout ships, but mothership.
That is so cool.
So what happened was this. There was this appeal to journalists from all over the world by the elders of the Rama mission, these beings from Orion, to invite them for a scheduled sighting to this place that we would go to for our psychographic experiences, where we'd receive messages and we would record them. And over time, those recordings are being compiled in what is known as the Book of the White Vestments, which, not surprisingly, the Mormons are very interested in, because they are convinced that this Book of the White Vestments is the lost tablet of the angel Moroni that contacted Joseph Smith. And as a matter of fact, for a number of years, the Mormons had a 24-hour vigilance or guard around Sixto's home in Chorrillos. They're very interested. They also came to my house and under the guise of wanting to convert us to Mormonism, but really to find out how they can get closer to the Rama mission. So there's a lot of overlap here. The Mormons are pretty hip to the visitation of our star relatives upon this planet. It's a little known fact, but I'm saying it now.
That's something.
And so basically, we invited all these journalists to come from 34 countries were represented, most of them Spanish-speaking countries, and for a particular time in the desert south of Lima. And there's a process, a Rama meditation process that involves lunar and solar mantras and practices that enhance one's own hermetic gnosis, one's own contact through a higher knowing with the consciousness of these more advanced beings that are assisting the evolution of our planet. And so first day, everybody's doing their practices, much like any sadhana you do in a Hindu tradition. And then nothing. Second day, we're deepening. Some of the journalists started to get a little antsy and say, oh, this is a bunch of BS. Nothing's going to happen. But the night of that second day, all of a sudden, people had gone to sleep, but we always have an all-night group that's out there in meditation holding a particular thought form that is a contact thought form with the guides, with the elder guides. And all of a sudden, I was in my tent at the time, and all of a sudden, I just, through my own closed eyelids, I could see the brightest light. And there were these colorations of lights, and I hear all these people hooting and screaming. And I stick my head out of my tent, and there's this mothership, huge, hovering above us. And so the journalists all started to film it and take photos and everything. And then the mothership just floats away very slowly and disappears behind a mountain range that is east of this area, this contact area. And all of a sudden, these three caneplas, or these three scout ships, smaller ships, start to come toward us. And they hover in the same area, about, I'd say, 300 yards from where the camp site was, and they beam these rays of light down into the desert ground that form this semicircle of light, which we call a zendra. And a zendra is an interdimensional portal. It's a bridge between realities, really, that if a human in physical form walks into, they disappear. So they were inviting people to walk through the zendra into their mothership.
Oh boy.
What an opportunity.
Everybody was paralyzed.
With fear.
There was this extreme silence. You could hear a pin drop. We're in the middle of a desert where it doesn't rain but a half of inch the entire year. It's the driest desert on planet. And it's Spartan and silent at night. No sounds, not even the little creatures can be heard. And after a while, poof, the zendra vanished. Nobody took the opportunity.
Oh, no.
Yet, what happened is that this entire event was filmed by these journalists. And as a matter of fact, I have an old VCR of the program that was featured on the Spanish station of Univision here in South Florida, that has the journalists testifying about their experiences and shows the scout craft in the sky and Sixto speaking and all of that. And as I mentioned during our break, as a result of that, the government became very concerned. And the next time that Sixto Pasuells came to the United States, some bogus charges were invented about him receiving payment illegally and not declaring taxes for what he received for doing his teachings here. And they were threatened with putting him in jail for something like 12 years.
Oh, no.
So, because they did not want him coming and talk. As a matter of fact, he had been invited to Columbia University to give a conference on his experiences during that trip, and they wanted to prevent him from doing so because he's a very convincing speaker, a brilliant man, and he's authentic. And so as a result of that, he did not come back into the United States for many, many, many moons, many years. Now,
didn't you also witness him at one point going into the zendra?
I'm getting there.
I'm sorry. I'm just so excited.
I just wanted. I know I could be a little long-winded, but
no, it's wonderful.
I'm setting it up.
Great.
Good. It's very, very interesting for us.
Okay, because there has to be a context to this.
Absolutely.
So you understand. Here it is. It's a worldwide splash that Peru has the only scheduled contactee group alive, and there's conclusive evidence that this is happening and that there are star relatives in our atmospheric planetary field willing to make contact with us. So just think about that reality. No wonder the American government was threatened by it. Right? Yeah. So as a result of this, Sixto was led by Oxalc, which is the main guide of the 49 star relatives that are part of the intergalactic confederation that we are associated with. And remember that these beings are both physical, and they look, they're very tall, about 7 feet tall, very, very slender, very dark brown skin, the typical insectoid oval eyes, large bulbous head, very, very long arms. They're not the grays. They're not the little, drone type beings. These are very elevated entities. And they wear a celeste outfit. And when they do when you see them in the physical form, you cannot get close to them. So the way that they show themselves in the earth plane is as exactly like biblical angels. So you'll see them like, wearing white robes and having long flowing hair, and just like you would see the angel Gabriel that visited the Virgin Mother, that exact same image, but those are the astral projections of their physical body. Their physical body cannot be on planet because they risk an entrapment within the lower vibrational density of the third dimensional plane. So they are not able to physically show themselves except stay within that field of their craft. Yet to make communication and contact, they have to take these astral forms as angels. So in their astral form, when they visited Sixto in his bedroom at night, they indicated to him that to avoid the problems that were, being brought forth concerning the public exposure of these journalists in the United States, that he needed to go to Ganymede, that he needed to go to the Crystal City, to the Hall of Records, which is, there's a satellite colony on Ganymede. It's an artificial Earth-like environment that has been created millennia ago. And think of the Shangri-Las or the Shambalas and the old, those mystical cities. That's what it's like. And it's a physical place where earth beings like us, two-leggeds, that have, mysteriously disappeared, and many of them are there. And our earth life can be extended to 300 earth years when living there. Some of these, as the great alchemists and mystics of the past that have disappeared and then showed up again, much like Sai Baba, that these beings that can live forever and are seen throughout historical periods, have been taken to Ganymede and are sustained there and then brought back to the earth, you see?
Yes. That makes sense. I understand that. Sure.
Yeah. So this is in physical form. So the places, and so Sixto was told that he needed to go to receive the full instruction and initiation into what the mission's purpose was on this planet, and to divulge that progressively over a number of years, over 7 years. And we call that the Llamada de Anrom, or the Anrom's call, the great unveiling of the seventh seal is what it is understood of. And so to do that, he had to go through the Zendra. So he called several of his most trusted people, that I was honored to be one of them, to go out by ourselves to Chilca, to the desert south of Peru, for this experience of going to Ganymede without the need to physically go in a craft, but through his astral body. And we did all of the customary meditations and preparations. And, at that time I was a strict vegetarian, because that's what the guides require to be able to sensitize your body enough to the very heightened vibratory rate that is required in our material cellular form to be able to maintain contact. And so you have to be very purified. You have to do a lot of fasting and yogic exercises for these encounters. You must be a very pure and clean instrument. So we all did this, and we went out to the desert and we did our practices, and lo and behold, 3 crafts show up. Then there was a support group of a larger number of people behind this hill that are just praying for us, and then it was the contact group, which were us, which were 7 of us, including Sixto. So we were all instructed of how to create a force field for these crafts to come in, and did so. And lo and behold, 3 crafts show up. They project 3 beings, 3 angelic-like beings project out of them. And then all of a sudden, this semicircular orb of light, just like you'd look at think of the arches in St. Louis, like that, but 30 feet high, started to coalesce in the desert. And Sixto was prepared to walk in.
God bless him.
He walked in and disappeared.
Whoa, right in front of you.
And I saw this with my own eyes. And, I'm talking about these things, and I'm a Duke University and Emory University trained psychologist and ethnopsychologist. I have a lot on the line, yet this is my truth, I speak what I experienced. This is not for any purpose of self-aggrandizement. It's what my duty is. It's what my dharma is, to tell the truth of the realities that interpenetrate our very limited view of what is possible for humanity in a manner that allows us to progressively become more.
Well, we want to become more. I mean, that's why I think people listen to the show, and we're going to have to take a short break. I hate to do it because I'm sitting at the edge of my chair.
I know it.
The rest of the story.
Slide off the seat here.
He disappeared into the Zendra. We'll take it from there.
We're going to come back and do the rest of this story. My goodness. So stay tuned, everybody. We are speaking with Don Oscar Miro-Quesada. He's the author of Lessons in Courage, Peruvian Shamanic Wisdom for Everyday Life. And we will be right back.
You're listening to IRN, the Inception Radio Network, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, Inception Radio Network listeners. This is Amanda. Just a reminder that Inception Radio Network is on Twitter. Follow us at I_R_N and keep up to date about who's on tonight, what interviews they'll be doing, who's guest spotting, what topics they'll be covering. Tweet to us, tweet about us, retweet topics to your friends, and most importantly, never miss a great show again. That's I_R_N.
A computer? Is your internet connection down? Don't worry. Use your trusty cell phone or landline and call into our listen line at 401-283-6700 to listen to the Inception Radio Network 24/7. Again, that call-in number is 401-283-6700. For the Inception Radio Network, I am MJ.
My name is Ezra, and I'm from the highend.org. You've heard of medical marijuana, but who can you trust for proper guidance? Here at the highend.org, we have all the information you need. Did you know that scientists have discovered cannabis can reduce inflammation, pain, and spasms? It's helped my patients reduce the symptoms of autoimmune diseases, PTSD, autism, and insomnia. A compound from hemp.
This week at Lowe's, you'll get great savings during our outdoor entertaining event. Get a smoking hot deal on a Char Griller Super Pro Charcoal Grill, now for just $99. That's a $30 savings. And if you're inviting people over for that backyard barbecue, make sure your landscape looks in tip-top shape with premium mulch. Now 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 6/21 through 6/28 while supplies last. U.S. only. Mulch color and selection vary by location. Offer not valid in Alaska or Hawaii.
Called CBD is doing wonders for intestinal issues, anxiety, and the nervous system. I sell this compound at thehighend.org. I've worked as a medical marijuana consultant and educator for the past 6 years, and here at thehighend.org, I can help you choose from the hundreds of cannabis strains and products and find the ones that are best for your needs. To learn more about cannabis, schedule a Skype or phone consultation, or to have a CBD product shipped right to your door, visit thehighend.org. That's thehighend, all one word, .org. I'll help make your health high-end.
Hello, Inception Radio Network. Would you like your favorite show to be played again live on air? Well, now the choice is in your hands with IRN's live request portal, an easy way to request your favorite show with a simple click. IRN's live request portal now gives you exclusive access to all the shows. How easy is it? Simply type a show name or a guest name, click request, even write a dedication message, and that's it. Try it now. Simply visit InceptionRadioNetwork.com, click on the live request tab under the show menu. Now playing your favorite show is just a mouse click away.
Are you a fan of Inception Radio Network? Do you reckon it's the best alternative talk radio station on the planet? Well, if you do, head to facebook.com/Inception Radio Network and like the page. Tell your friends, spread the word, and keep listening to the best.
Are you ready for a new experience of freedom and powerful connection? Would you like a positive, effortless change in your life? Then come to CosmicFusion.com, where we offer the most advanced energy clearing and expansion techniques in the world, with a quantum vortex energy to activate your divine blueprint and life's purpose. When your soul leads the way with cosmic fusion and quantum vortex energy, you can break clear of past difficulties and blocks with the power of the source. With cosmic fusion, the source energy does the work for you. It's easy and effortless. Listen to our free meditation right from our Cosmic Fusion website, the Cosmic Code Meditation. Sign up for one of our interactive webinars today. Come to Cosmic Fusion, www.KOSMICfusion.com, to experience an effortless awakening and transformation. Are you ready for an upgrade? Are you ready for a new experience of living in the fifth dimensional magic and powerful connection? Then visit CosmicFusion.com today. CosmicFusion.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Supernatural Girlz Radio, to one of our very most exciting shows ever with Don Oscar. He is a shaman from Peru. He has written Lessons in Courage, and we're on the edge of our chairs because we want to find out what happened to Sisto.
That's right.
He went through the Zendra. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I want to know what happened.
So, with right foot first, he steps through this semicircular tunnel of light. And if you look at this Zendra from the side, it is but maybe a half of an inch in thickness. Yet it is 30 feet in height and about, I'd say, 40 feet in length. So it's this thin little filament that is in the middle of space in front of you. It's remarkable, and it's just glowing with white light. So Cecil steps in with his right foot, and little by little his body starts to disappear, and poof, he's gone. Wow. So the rest of us, myself and the other 5 brothers, we just sit there and hold space and go into our meditation using our cosmic name, because when you become initiated into this work, you receive a cosmic name that is a key to your past lives. So when you mantralize it, either out loud or silently, depending on which day of the week it's used, you have these visions and memories and epiphanies of everything you've learned since your first incarnation on this planet. So once you do that, then you can start serving on the higher planes of existence. So we're doing this, and very in a disciplined manner. An hour passes, 2 hours pass, 3 hours pass, 4 hours pass, 5 hours pass.
Wow.
No sixto. No sixto.
Oh, my word.
No sixto, you know. So we're saying, okay, granted, the guy has been told he needs to go to the Crystal City on Ganymede. The Voyager isn't even there yet, and it was launched years ago. Let's give him a break. We don't know how this works, so our minds are starting to think, okay, well, maybe he was just teletransported to the mothership, and in the mothership he's being given a virtual experience of Ganymede. How can he possibly go to Ganymede? I mean, yes, he did do his fasting and he purified, and he's been on a health freak for years. Yet, is his body going to withstand this? So 8 hours go by, and on the 9th hour, all of a sudden we see this Zendra coming back. Oh, I forgot to tell you, once he went through, the Zendra disappeared, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then all of a sudden we see this, without the 3 craft that were there beaming those 3 rays that created the original portal. There were no craft, but all of a sudden this portal starts to appear right before our eyes. And here comes Sixto wobbling out of the place. I'm totally disheveled. He looked like a hobo that had lived under a bridge for months. And he had the growth of the beard of the equivalent of at least a week.
Oh, for sakes.
Like he had been gone for at least a week. His eyes were all discombobulated.
Sounds a little on the drunk side.
Yeah, and he would, and he had that characteristic burn, that erysipelas, that reddening of the flesh. Oh. So he had been exposed to some high levels of cesium crystal radioactivity. It's not like the radioactive cesium we have on Earth. It's more of a celestial cesium that exists in dark matter in space. So he had been on a journey through the cosmos.
I guess so.
and so he comes back and he couldn't speak.
Oh my.
He was unable to articulate a word. All he wanted was to drink water and go into his tent and sleep.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
So, of course, we escorted him to his room, to his tent, and he fell asleep. And then the next day, he's a very prolific writer. He's written many books. The next day he goes into this trance and pulls out his journal and just starts writing feverishly, page after page after page after page after page after page after page. And the result of that is the book, The Invitation, that I mentioned.
Oh, right.
And in that, he lays out the purpose for the visitation by the Rama elders that began during right after the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that was the moment that the star relatives from various other planetary systems that are part of the Intergalactic Confederation needed to make sure that humankind did not further move into that self-destructive use of this type of fission power. Mm-hmm. And so that was their main concern for intervening and for setting up contact with some of the individuals like Sixto. So he articulates all this in the book. And as a result of that, it became a very bestseller throughout, especially the Spanish-speaking nations, and many of the countries that have Rama groups that became civic organizations within the countries. We're talking about Spanish-speaking countries all the way from the West Coast and Florida in the United States to the Dominican Republic, to El Salvador, to Costa Rica, to Puerto Rico, and all of the South American countries and Spain and Portugal. The Rama groups, the contactee groups in these countries, over 500 of them worldwide, are all civic organizations. So they are doing work in homeless shelters, in women's battered shelters, doing the work that a Mother Teresa would do. That was that's the only way that the presence of our contact experience on the planet, at least at this time in our human evolution, is going to be able to sustain further disclosure of the truth behind the years that contact has taken place, not only with individuals that are not part of government organizations, yet even more importantly, by strategic individuals in the military and the industrial complex of that same military within the United States and Britain primarily. Israel as a second. They're very interested. Russia has had some very, major contact verifications. All the superpowers of this planet have had contact with beings not from Orion, but from the star system Sirius, that have shared some of their advanced technologies. And you know how that goes. Instead
yes, we do.
Making it available for the betterment of humanity, the betterment of the earth, and for the greater good of the people, they keep it for their own need to control and exert domination over the others. And
exactly,
that's a main concern. That's why by doing the good service work as, activists on planet, we keep our profile low, and at the same time, nobody can throw us in jail.
And for that, we're grateful.
Yes,
so
we're very grateful.
So that's the story.
What a great story, Don Oscar. That's amazing. And we've often had this discussion on this show about our government and why they're covering all of this up. And so many stupid stories about how they're thinking that we're all going to go crazy if we know that this is the truth. We wouldn't, but it's all about follow the money. They're protecting their money flow from oil and gas and coal and all of these other things, when the ETs have basically given them the energy plans to have free energy. But they don't want us to have it because then their money goes away. So they're protecting their own interests. You're right. And we've heard this before from Jim Mars and from so many other people who've been involved in this contactee movement for so long. And it's great that Rama has found a way around the governments of the world. And it makes me laugh out loud. I think it's terrific that they're able to do this and that they've been kept out of jail, thank goodness. But I can see, this is a really exciting time for all of us. But I've often said, haven't I, PK, that the ETs are going to have to contact us, not our governments, if they want to see things change.
I think we're going to see some of that taking place as things progress this year. Too many people are now starting to question, where before they kind of pass it off and pretend it didn't exist. They've got too much information is available for them to allow it to stay hidden any longer.
Yay! Isn't that great? Wow.
It's all a matter of timing. When you line
that is it.
There's these little windows of opportunity that have existed throughout human history, in which our star relatives have walked hand in hand with humans, and it comes and goes. There's an ebb and flow to the dreaming of the universe, and we need to be sensitive to that and not push the river either. And that said, we understand in the Rama mission that it's a labor of love, really. As a matter of fact, we say, Rama es amar, Dios es amor, Cristo es el Señor. Así es y así será. Basically, Rama, because if you see Rama, R-A-M-A, and the word in Spanish, amar, A-M-A-R, which is Rama spelled backwards, it means, Rama is to love. So it's Rama is to love. Love is God. Christ is the answer in a sense, but without being proselytizing of the Nazarene, but more indicative of the prevalence of Christ consciousness, of the solar Christ, of the cosmic Christ that permeates the universe, of the anointed one. So it's not in any way an organized religion around the birth of a Messiah, but a recognition of the Christ archetype that is not only here in human consciousness, yet in the consciousness of many other advanced species throughout the cosmos.
Wonderful.
You're going to be given some information this year. You yourself are going to bring certain information out to the population that's going to make some major changes.
It's already coming through, my good sister PK.
Good. I'm glad to know that my good side is working well.
Your antenna are up, PK.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, yes, I have until 2021 to go ahead and coalesce the transmissions that are being received, which I'm calling shamanic star wisdom, and it's a combination of earth honoring human presence and transcendent extraterrestrial awareness.
Wonderful.
Now, are you going to be writing about this in the near future?
I'm in the process.
Good.
I'm in the process of putting this together. Yet, as I said before, it's all about the timing. This is the first time I've spoken other than in the small groups of initiates, apprentices that I work with around the country. This is the first time I've spoken of this publicly.
We're honored that you shared this with us and our audience. Thank you.
I do that to give it more presence and momentum. It's time.
Well, things that are happening, there's such major changes that are going on around you right now that are going to be coming out this month that you're going to be putting out to the masses in so many different ways. I'm very curious as to see how this is going to go, because the majority of it, everything's just like it's a jumping off spot right now. And within 4 months' time, there should be something out there that we're all going to do one of those, oh, wow moments.
And it may come from you, Don Oscar. So here is now. You said you were going to do a little bit of a ceremonial prayer for us.
Oh, yes.
Before the end of the show. So we're 10 minutes out or a little less. And I want to make sure that you have enough time to talk about what you're going to do and then do it.
Well,
we're not coercing.
Yes, rather than talk about it, I'd like people to receive it. It's a transmission of heart-centered lineage, shamanic lineage.
Wow. Oh my God.
Known as Munaymanta, Munaymanta, Munaymanta. So I'd like us all to just close our eyes gently and take a couple of deep breaths, relax our bodies, and bring ourselves into full presence here and now, within this field of beauty and healing grace, of which we are midwives. And understanding the power of our consciousness to beget the material conditions upon this earth, allow a fully awakened heart space to cascade fields of love out high into the sky world and deep into the womb of our mother, and wide across the four directions of Pachamama. And holding that open, expansive presence and awareness, please receive the following invocation. Aing ruwaikuna pakarishka yachaymanta munaymanta nunamanta huñunakun ñokanchis kanchis kamakchik kamasqa kamak chay inakachun chay inakan chay inakanka chay ina urimpi chay ina hanampi chay ina ukupi chay ina hawaipi chay ina muyupi chay ina ñokakpi kanchaypi munaypi wilka teksipi ñokakani hampuy hampuy. Soy Wilka Cuichitexe Muyu, eso veo siempre. Andirandirandairi, 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 andirandairi, andirandirandairi. In an open, receptive, welcoming state of presence, bring into your inner vision, your living imagination, royal hummingbird, Siwarkanti, that spirals down from the heavenly realms in her rainbow flight, drinking the sweet nectar of your awakened self from your crown, imbibing this elixir of the 1,000-petaled lotus, Kantuta flower, that has blossomed upon your higher center and carries it cross-pollinating your beauty throughout the garden of this majestic planet known as Gaia, Pachamama. In doing so, you allow Hummingbird to be the shamanic psychopomp, the carrier of your shamanic soul throughout all worlds, above, below, and within. May this transmission of wisdom and beauty be a healing salve to your lives. With deep love. Shoo. I am complete.
That's fascinating.
What an incredibly beautiful and powerful experience that just was. Thank you so much, Don Oscar. Just, amazing.
Chills. It is so wonderful. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you from all of our audience. They are so grateful for everything you've shared tonight and for the prayer and the ceremony at the end of the show tonight. This is, oh my goodness. Well, we're going to have you back, We're just going to keep dragging you back here, Don.
It is an honor to be of service, my good sister. Thank you.
So good having you with us. But,
it is. It's amazing. It's amazing. Well, listen, whenever you want to come back, you have an open invitation. And if there is information that you want to give to a large group of people, you are welcome to give it here anytime. So please keep us posted on your star transmissions and everything that you're doing. It is so wonderful that you are here on the planet. I'm glad you didn't leave. I'm glad you're here.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's been a wild ride, but now it's smooth sailing.
Yay. Oh, my goodness. Hooray. Well, thank you again so much, Don Oscar. Many blessings back to you and to Cindy. Thank you. And everybody, we will be sure to see you next week. And we are going to be talking about crystal skulls, I think. We're going to see. But that's one of our topics on the agenda. And until then, we are going to see you on the Blue Highway. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
This week at Lowe's, you'll get great savings during our outdoor entertaining event. Get a smoking hot deal on a Char Griller Super Pro Charcoal Grill, now for just $99. That's a $30 savings. And if you're inviting people over for that backyard barbecue, make sure your landscape looks in tip-top shape with premium mulch. Now 5 bags are just $10. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 6/21 through 6/28 while supplies last. U.S. only. Mulch color and selection vary by location. Offer not valid in Alaska or Hawaii.